And by the way, folks, when you guys watching the program, you guys know we don't block banners since. I'm going to ask you folks to smash that like button when you're tuned in. And if you like this type of broadcast, to follow me if you're watching on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, and certainly subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. We're going to be on all those platforms. Well, we currently are on all those platforms right now. So here we go. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal, depending on who the hell you ask. Nevertheless, we got a tough day of topics because lives were lost. A lot of lives were needlessly lost. As one of my viewers has already mentioned, what happened in Rhode Island at what is it, Brown University, or what the name of that school? Two individuals. Have they caught somebody let me know. I didn't check this right before I went online, but have they caught the assailant from Brown University or whatever the case may be? That person is still on the loose, is they not? Are they not? You don't normally see a mass. I'm trying to use words that don't trigger the damn censors on TikTok. I don't believe in censorship, but God damn it, TikTok does. So trigger a mass casualty event. How about that? That's one way of saying it without saying it over and over again. But you don't normally hear about individuals that are responsible for perpetrating a mass casualty event being on the loose. They are normally neutralized by law enforcement, or they do themselves. So for this person to still be on the loose, that is kind of like Luigi Mangione, even though he took out one person. But Luigi Mangione was one like that, where he was on the loose for a few days. My guess is they'll probably find who did this, but you never know. I mean, you never know. Same thing with Tyler Robinson, the guy who took out Charlie Kirk. Based on Tyler Robinson's situation, what we've heard so far, he probably could have got away with that. He left a lot of clues and shit behind. He probably could have got away with that if he had did a little bit less conversating and dropping breadcrumbs behind him. He probably could have got away with it. Luigi Mangione maybe so too, and I'm not advocating doing something like that, but because both of their crimes were horrible. But I am saying it looks like Tyler Robinson and Luigi Mangione made a few key mistakes where they could have probably got away with that. But this individual at Brown University, wow, to have somebody like that still on the loose. But I'm asking a question today, which, like I stated, probably will not be very popular to even ask something like this. But do we have a Muslim problem in America? Because that's what a lot of folks are saying. They're suggesting that too many folks are in this country that have not been vetted. We don't know who the hell they are. You see what happened with the individual that drove from Washington State to Washington, D.C. and tried to take the lives of some National Guardsmen, ended up taking the life of one female member of the National Guard and put the other one in critical condition. Sounds like the other individual is starting to recover, albeit slowly, but did take two lives. President Trump immediately responded by basically indicating he was going to challenge all Afghanis that are in the country. We've talked about the Somalis. Now, the Somalis haven't committed any violence, but they're getting them on the account of they're committing acts of fraud, and it's not just limited to Minnesota. Apparently, in the state of Maine, stuff is happening as well. Apparently, there's Somali fraud in Maine as well, SNAP fraud or something like that. Because there's a few areas in this country, just like in any country, when immigrants go to a country, they usually kind of band together. You have Chinatowns, you have Italian places where a lot of Little Italy and things like that. The Somalis stick together in a similar fashion. So I don't know why people often say that they're not assimilating. That's kind of what happens. The Hispanics kind of move in their same neighborhoods, et cetera, et cetera. I think African Americans, considering how it started, I think African Americans are the only group that tend to want to get out of their neighborhoods. If an African American comes into wealth, they usually leave their neighborhoods because of how their neighborhoods were created. They were created originally as ghettos, but the rest of the folks tend to come and stay with their own kind. Vietnamese do it, Chinese do it, all of that. But African Americans, when they come into some wealth, they usually move out of their areas. But we'll talk about that. Some of you guys can certainly feel free to correct me where you think I'm getting that one wrong. But in addition to talking about a Muslim problem because of Somalis, Afghanis, we heard what happened on Bondi Beach in Australia. 15 lives lost in Australia. I'm sure many of you seen the footage of actual citizen. A citizen disarmed a guy with a long rifle. That takes some kahunas. But if you see the video footage, it's pretty clear the Aussies don't know what it's like to hear gunfire. They didn't respond the same way Americans do. Americans are going to know instinctively to hit the ground. Many are going to pull out their own firearms, and the rest are going to run. Americans are very well trained in what to do when they hear firearms because it happens a lot here in this country. You probably have 1,000 mass casualty events for every one that Australia has. But we're gonna get into that because Australia's trying to make a change. But in addition to those two topics, we got 3 topics today. This one I want to run by you because I want to get from you whether you believe this is a good thing, a bad thing. This is, of course, our commander-in-chief by way of executive order, which is his favorite way to pass laws. But here goes.
Taking one more step to protect Americans from the scourge of deadly fentanyl flooding into our country. With this historic executive order I will sign today, we're formally classifying fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction, which is what it is. No bomb does what this is doing. 200 to 300,000 people die every year that we know of. So we're formally classifying fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. Today I'm
How the hell does that work? Is that a good thing? Do you think what Trump is doing is likely to curb the amount of fentanyl in this country? You know, how do you designate a drug? So if a person gets caught with a few pounds of this stuff, apparently it doesn't take much. They're claiming that even an amount on the tip of a pen is enough to kill someone. So it sounds like anthrax or some shit. It does sound like it could be exceptionally harmful, but so could heroin and other drugs. So how does it work to classify a substance like that as a weapon of mass destruction when it is commonly used in the medical community? How does that work? If you are indeed a fentanyl dealer illegally, let's say you are an illegal dealer of drugs and you're caught with this substance on you, do they charge you with possession of a weapon of mass destruction? Like, goddamn, you're right up there with, ISIS or Al Qaeda. Wow. Or better yet, what we thought was Iraq. A weapon of mass destruction. Do you think Trump is on the right track classifying it as such a huge weapon? Now, we talked about we're gonna certainly get into the Muslim problem. I think that's going to be our primary issue here. But I want you to hear after what took place in Australia yesterday with so many loss of lives by way of firearm.
What we saw yesterday was an act of pure evil, an act of terror, an act of anti-Semitism, an attack on the first day of Hanukkah targeted at the Jewish community. A dark day in Australia's history on what should have been a day of light. We are stronger than the cowards who did this. And I want to conclude finally by saying that the government is prepared to take whatever action is necessary. Included in that is the need for tougher gun laws. This afternoon at 4 o'clock, I will put on the agenda of the National Cabinet tougher gun laws, including limits on the number of guns that can be used or licensed by individuals.
Think something like that would work in America?
We saw yesterday.
I don't know why that's starting up again, but so they're gonna follow this up by getting stricter on gun access. Now, it was pretty strict in Australia to get a firearm to begin with, and I'll tell you from my own personal standpoint, as someone who used to be a who used to live in Australia. I used to live there for a number of years, and I actually did have cash in, what is it called? Cash in transit, kind of like an armored car guard. I took a cash in transit class in Australia where I would be armed. So I had firearms training in Australia. They basically on handguns, nothing special. I believe we trained on on a Glock pistol, and we trained on a 357 Magnum. These are the standard issue firearms you get if you're cash in transit. I guess like I said, in America it would be called an armored car guard or something, but cash in transit, you get to carry a firearm. In Australia, they actually make you leave your weapons at home. So if you do have some sort of a career where you're required to be armed, when you go home for the day, you leave that weapon at your place of employment. You do not take that home with you. So it's been years since I've been over there, so many of those laws may have changed, but when I was there for the years it was very, very rare to hear somebody getting shot at any level. Very rare. And I believe it's still somewhat like that, maybe a little bit more so, in neighborhoods and places get worse as time goes on, but I think it's still fairly rare. But for them to talk about getting stricter on gun laws, kind of here's the opposite approach.
You need to be very clear that you're not going to get gun deaths to zero. It will not happen.
Right.
You can significantly reduce them through having more fathers in the home,
Yes.
by having more armed guards in front of schools. We should have an honest and clear reductionist view of gun violence, but we should not have a utopian one. You will never live in a society when you have an armed citizenry and you won't have a single gun death. That is nonsense. It's drivel. But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. So we need to be
Coming from a man who got shot to death, but that is his point. His point was, rather, he's past tense now, but that was his point, is that, look, I am so in favor of defending our Second Amendment rights that I'm willing to accept that some folks are going to lose their life by way of a firearm, as opposed to, putting my Second Amendment rights on the chopping block. Now, I don't think he realized he was going to be one of the acceptable deaths, but he did say that. So let's see the comments. Tom says, at least, I bet he had, I can't pronounce the name, said he went down with a bang. Yeah, unfortunately, Charlie Kirk lost his life by way of what he was defending. So we're going to go ahead and get into the program. I'm asking that simple question: with so many things taking place around the world, do we have a Muslim ban, as some folks are suggesting? And a lot of folks are suggesting maybe it's time to have them banned from coming into the country. They're suggesting that Christianity does not take lives as part of the religion. They believe that Muslims, as part of practicing that religion, it calls for taking the lives of others. Now, I'm not certain that is fact, but I want to hear from you folks. I do want to hear from you folks. So looking in the comments right off the bat, and let me make it clear, even with topics like this, we do not block, ban, or censor. We are always MAGA friendly, always will be MAGA friendly. Liberals are welcome on the program as well, but there is no censorship here. We do not have moderators on this program. We go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Q. You can be critical of anyone on the program, including yours truly. So that's how it works. Have you read any part of the Quran, Handsome? No, I have not, and I know Muslims, and they're the least violent people I know. So it goes totally against what I hear a lot of Christians say about the Muslim religion. But I do want to hear it from you folks. The Muslims I know are very peaceful people that do not wish harm upon anyone. Invite you in their home. You can sit down and watch TV with them, whatever. I've never seen any of this. But there's folks who suggest exactly the opposite of what my analysis is. That's why I got you here, folks. So looking in the comments, right off the bat, you accepting a level of gun violence in exchange for Second Amendment rights. That is what I meant. Yeah, that's what Kirk meant too. They are overblowing this out of proportion. Like you said, mass casualty events are rare, to be fair. the objective is to try to get it to zero. Why not try instead shrugging it off like it is? Well, here's the problem. In Australia, mass casualty events are rare. They do have very strict gun laws. In America, we have very relaxed gun laws, and mass casualty events are exceptionally common. They are very common. No matter where you live in America, there's a really good chance there is a school or institution that is only a few miles from you where people regularly practice what to do if somebody comes in a place and shoots them all up. They don't do that in most Western countries. In fact, I don't know anywhere they're doing that in the free world other than in America, where places of gathering, the folks that come to churches and all of this, hospitals, they're constantly preparing. What do we do if somebody comes in here shooting us all up? That doesn't happen in Australia, New Zealand, doesn't happen in the UK. That doesn't happen anywhere else. That happens here. That is a uniquely American issue. Kind of when they say unique is what do they say? It's American as apple pie. No, it's American as mass casualty events. So going straight to the box, we'll go ahead and start the program off with I think it says TT. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. The tap dancing raccoon is back and rambling about Master Trump as usual. I don't know what you mean there, Khalito, but okay, fair enough. TT, good evening.
Hey man, what's up? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm sure you've heard of some of this awful stuff that took place this weekend, whether it's Brown University, what happened in Australia. I mean, there's been Bondi Beach over in Australia. You heard about this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And this obviously follows up what happened to the National Guardsmen in D.C. Do you believe this country has a Muslim problem, or better yet, the Western world in general?
No, and I think a lot of the push for that is Zionist groups that are trying to foment this hate for Muslims on U.S. soil. And in Texas the other day, in fact, I saw that they had a group of people parading around with a pig and, signs that in any other time would be labeled as racist or whatever you would call it. And that's my entire perspective. They're doing it to push back against those people because people are losing sympathy for Israel after the genocide.
So you believe that the anti-Muslim sentiment that's growing in America is being perpetrated by the Jewish community?
By Zionists, largely in part, yes.
I have not heard. In fact, I've seen a lot of folks I've seen are right-leaning politically, but I mean, I suppose when you talk about Zionists, they could be right or left-leaning, could they not?
Oh, absolutely. They're on both sides.
So in other words, it's overblown.
I think so. I think the people, like you were even saying, the people that here, they're peaceful people. Yeah. They're people that are coming here. Mostly, they're just regular people. If you talk to them and just run into them, they're no different from somebody else, in many cases. The only difference is that they're praying and they're more into their belief, which is, it should be respected.
But let me ask it to you this way. Under President Biden, there was a large contingent of Afghanis that came in this country, and the Trump administration is suggesting that they have not all been vetted. We don't know who all these people are. Do you think that could pose any problems down the line, considering we have had one go rogue?
I'm skeptical of that. I don't know, man. I'm skeptical. I think most of those people are probably fine, and I think we have other problems cooking.
Well, we could have other problems, but considering the fact that they have not been all vetted, and one of them has taken the life of a U.S. serviceman, it doesn't bother you at all. It doesn't concern you at all.
I mean, I think we're in a weird situation where all this stuff's been, pushed around for years now, and I don't know, man. No. They're out in the streets, and I think they're an easy target, and then who knows who did it, really, or what their motive was.
Now, wait.
Most of the motive that you see is anti-Islam.
You said who knows who did it. Which event are you talking about?
Well, I mean, the Afghan guy, he was a member of the intel services or something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's pretty clear he did it. They're not suggesting that he may not be the assailant that was involved in that. He did it.
Oh, sure, but it's just a weird time for it to happen all of a sudden. We haven't had any issues with them for years, and then all of a sudden, like the 10/7 stuff happens, and then right after that, they were, like there's billboards that went up right after that saying, "Oh, it's coming to you soon. They're your problem also," and I'm just kind of weary of that stuff. I think there's a lot of people looking to justify doing that or justify wars abroad.
But how do you respond to, because you mentioned Zionists, how do you respond to the fact that they had an incident in Australia where you did indeed have someone, two people, a father and son duo, whose primary goal was to take out innocent people from their community?
Yeah, it's crazy.
So I mean, but that's not just Zionists. I mean, that's based on reality. They actually are harming people.
Well, I mean, that wasn't something that happened in Australia, and who knows if we would know about it, depending on if it was another group of people. And then, we'll see in the coming weeks how the people weaponize it, or if they try to use that, for instance, to justify pushing through these laws they're trying to pass to limit speech and all that stuff on the internet.
Who's attempting to pass laws to limit speech?
They're trying to pass these. They're dubbing them anti-Semitism laws.
Who are they?
There's there's a bill. I think I'm not sure what the bill is.
Okay.
But
Is it coming from? Is it over here or overseas?
No, here. Yeah. Like Trump's got a whole czar. He's got a czar for this, and they're dedicating resources to pushing these laws through, and they're trying to limit speech on the internet. Primarily based on that topic, and TikTok is part of that. Netanyahu was open about how they're trying to control TikTok, and how could the Trump
administration try to pass laws that against anti-Semitism when it's calling the Somalis garbage? I mean, isn't he doing something very similar?
Double standards. That's what it is.
That's kind of funny. You're calling this whole community garbage, or you're saying this other community is eating cats and dogs, but you're against anti-Semitism. Okay.
Hey, man, and they had pictures of those people eating some dogs or whatever. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, but that you do realize that was not happening, right?
It wasn't. Well, I don't know if it was it could have been a media thing on the internet, but what happened, the initial videos that came out that were circulating was a woman that looked like she could have been Haitian eating a cat. And then the reality of that situation, though, is that those people do engage in things like voodoo, and
but keep in mind
those animals.
But keep in mind, there are hundreds of thousands of Haitians in America. If they actually were consuming pets, you would have plenty of actual tangible videos and stories to talk about. You wouldn't have to be, they're not going to be able to all hide that. You would definitely know about that. It's not like there's only 10 of them here. There are hundreds of thousands of these people. If that was what they do, you would absolutely have heard it a long time before President Trump said it. And by the way, I've seen the video you're talking about because we ran a bunch of shows on it because I was challenging folks to show me some actual evidence backing up Trump's claim. That woman was, first of all, not in Springfield because you see the police car. I think it says Canton or something on it, but it's in Ohio, but it's not in Springfield. Also, she's sitting in the middle of an apartment complex eating what appears to be a dead cat or whatever. And as I often bring up, even the most primitive societies will use fire to tenderize them. Nobody picks up an animal and just bites into it. Even in the middle of no fucking where. People don't pick up wild animals and just bite into them. That woman obviously was mentally ill.
Maybe. That's why I said it could have been just like some kind of campaign. But Trump didn't just pull that out of his pocket and say it. There was a campaign going around. There was all there was a picture of the dude with the geese. There was people talking about how people were snatching geese up out of the park or ducks or whatever. And so you had some actual genuine. Yeah,
Trump is not pulling out of his head. What he's doing is he's following far right sites that do not like those people, and he's just reposting what they say. Because we did a show the other night about how he reposted something saying that if you're a white victim of a homicide, it's almost an 81%, or it is an 81% chance a black person did it. And when you look at the site, you can tell it's just a hate site. So it seems like he follows certain media pages. If you go far left or you go far right, You can encounter shit on the internet that says any damn thing. It seems like he follows far right publications.
In some part, he's got people with truth in it and stuff. I don't know, but hey, man, you're one of the better ones on TikTok.
Thank
You do give takes from both sides. You don't just run with the propaganda. So keep up the good work, man.
Appreciate it. Come on back through anytime. My door's always open, man. Good talk. All right, moving on with the program. By the way, tap the screen, get the likes on up to 20,000. We can make that happen. Those two don't even have black neighbors. What are you guys talking about? How do these issues affect Karen and Tom in the suburbs? Don't know where you're going with that. For God's sake, do not use Zionist and jewelry interchangeably. Well, okay, let me ask that, because I'm going to admit, I'm not going to plead here, but I'm going to admit ignorance. Zionists, when you hear that term, who are they talking about? Because I'm under the impression that did refer to that community. Who are the Zionists? Somebody let me know who that is, okay? Because maybe I'm getting that one wrong. Anyway, looking in the comments here, yep. Her cat wandered back. MAGA, don't let the truth get in the way of a good story. Yeah. Bullshit. One of the better ones. Time is a smoke and mirror show. Oh, he says, Tim is a smoke and mirror show who's just out to further lefties. All right, Gen X. I'm out to further you. You need to come on the program. We'll certainly bring you up as always. Going back to the box, the one and only Andy. Good afternoon, Andy. Welcome to the program. Folks are suggesting we have a Muslim problem, Andy. What say you?
I think that's what they want to talk about, so we don't talk about how everything else is a dumpster fire.
Explain. Elaborate.
It's a distraction.
Distraction from what?
Donald Trump has the lowest approval rating in U.S. history. People are pissed off about the prices when they went to go buy Christmas. Like, women are deeply upset.
I'm being told
they got less Christmas and spent more money, is what they're complaining.
I'm being told you don't even need but $2. Your kid don't need $37. You're buying too much
and what
shit.
was he talking about? Don't give your kid pencils.
He's a little old.
Like, I need to know what parent is handing out pencils to their damn kids. Y'all need to give them kids some love and stop that.
He's almost 80.
Tommy Tuberville's also going after the Islamic community in Alabama.
He's almost 80,
wants to
Andy.
get
He's
rid
gonna
of
he's
school
gonna say stuff that's a little bit different. He's an older man. He comes, what is he? Baby boomer?
Now, Tommy's going after a school here, though.
What do you mean?
There's an Islamic school here that Tommy would like to see go.
The whole
He
school?
said that their teachings were not compatible with our Western ways, and they need to go. But what Tommy doesn't realize is that both religions, talk about peace and love and sanctity of life, and both religions can be radicalized and be extremist and take it. Because if Christians say that they're not, I would like to point at the AB clinic where I grew up in Alabama that went boom.
Okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking
back
about.
in the 90s where they unalived that police officer and that nurse. Yeah, see, they do it too.
That's a good
They
point.
just want to point the finger at other people.
That's a good
But they
point.
absolutely do it too. Look at our church people and stuff. That it's noise. It's just noise to distract us.
So what you're saying is Christians are just as much capable of committing acts of terror as the Muslim community.
Absolutely.
Folks are gonna.
And by the way, that gentleman, he was vetted. He was vetted. He went through the asylum process. Like, I don't know why they told that lie, but he was vetted.
Yeah. Well, he worked for the CIA, so he would have had to been vetted. But you're right. That's what they're saying.
But they keep lying. I mean, it's what they do.
Well, that's what they're saying. In the comments, one of the views, Melissa says, "Lady, you are clueless. Tommy has more sense than you. Why do you say, I don't," okay, maybe she's referring to somebody else. But, okay.
Tommy does not know the three branches of government. He doesn't know that there's the judicial, legislative, and executive. So you're going to have to sit down. If that man becomes governor in Alabama, we're lost. I miss me with that shit.
You know, my pillow guy, Mike Lindell, is running for governor in Minnesota. So Trump's minions are out there.
Oh, Lord. Well, I'm kind of upset with Trump. Did you see the new quarters? I didn't see Frederick Douglass on that quarter.
Well, you know the guy isn't
a Ruby Bridges on that quarter.
You know the
I
guy
saw
isn't
old puritanical couple from the Mayflower, pale as hell, looking off into the distance, and whatever that other bullshit quarter was. And now he wants to put his face on the $1 coin. You know who does that? Dictators, monarchs, and dictators. That's it.
Did he say that?
Yeah. You can look it up. There's already a coin.
Wow. I mean, the man said tired of winning. Looks like he's winning over and over again. He's getting what he wants.
Yeah, I thought too, Mo Better, but apparently,
I'm buying
I
a
don't
few
know.
of those. If Trump ends up with his face on a dollar coin, because the next liberal administration is going to cancel that shit, I'm buying a couple of those. Those will be a collector's
you
item.
should, because they're going to be worth a lot of money.
Yeah, those are going to end up being
I
collector's
don't,
items.
I don't think they'll get to mint though before he gets out of office. So
Well, Trump is known for
It
making
takes a
things
while.
happen fast.
it
Trump
takes
is
a-
known. Trump is known for making things happen fast, Andy. We're not talking about
That's
Biden
true.
here. We're not talking about Biden.
Well, no, I mean, generally the way the Treasury runs, though, it would take a minute. But since his face is on it, you're right. He's probably
Yeah,
going to speed
Trump-
run that thing.
Trump can make shit happen fast. So we're going to have Trump $1 coins. All right. Fair enough. I mean, listen, some folks say he's the best president we've ever had. Perhaps his face is worthy of a coin.
Do you mean him? That's the some person? Because his approval rating's the lowest of any president in U.S. history, including his own that was lower, like he even beat his own low rating. So I want to know where those people are too. Like, who are those people?
Why do you think his approval ratings are so low? When some folks are saying he's the best ever, how
I'll
can
tell
his-
you that it's in Alabama, it's the power bill. Alabama has the third highest energy cost in the nation.
Wow.
Hawaii and Massachusetts are the ones that have used more energy than us.
So your state has the third highest energy bills. Now your state is blood red. So you can't blame it on the liberals. Do you think your state may go purple or blue this time next year?
Well, the Supreme Court said that they did not do something right. And they're about to do something with the voting here with one of the districts. We'll have to see. Because that other district went blue. If they free up another, area pocket of voting, like Republicans are actually afraid of this. And on Fox News, they're planning to redistrict Texas. Well, right after they lost Miami on Fox News, they were freaking out because they said that they had counted for a certain percentage of the you had a $600 power bill of each demographic
Jesus
voting a certain way.
Christ. Wow, what do you got?
And,
What are you running
Yeah,
over
that
there?
stunned me. I'm sorry. I was kind of
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot.
So when they lost Miami, they knew that they didn't have that percentage of the Latino vote.
I
So
don't
now
know
they
why
don't
that's
know.
I don't know why that's a surprise though.
But they were counting on it for the redistricting of Texas. They needed it to be a certain amount. So now they're afraid to redistrict Texas because
It ain't
they
gonna
don't have
matter.
it. Like
It ain't gonna matter.
Florida threw them totally off. And Fox News went into panic mode. It was great.
How could anyone see? And I'm talking to my beloved MAGA side. So this is meant for the MAGA viewers. How could anyone see what is going on with ICE and not think we might be losing some Latino votes? I mean, that's you really think that we're all going to stay in place with this no nonsense, no sympathy, zero empathy motion that ICE is doing? Seems like they would have expected that. I mean, they really were counting on the Latinos to stay with them. Andy, did we lose you? I don't know if we lost
So
her.
Trump believes that he thinks once you're on your side that he talks good enough to keep you there. He has that gift of gab. He believes as long as he can keep talking, you'll listen and he'll get his way.
What?
But-
He's lost Mike Pence. He's lost fucking Liz Cheney. He's
But
lost.
it don't seem to matter. I don't know.
Wait a minute, but how could you lose all of them folks and think you're gonna keep you actually lost Marjorie Taylor Greene, but you think you're gonna keep Jose?
Arrogance.
That doesn't make
Arrogance.
sense.
Arrogance and narcissism.
Okay. So
You can't say he's not a narcissist. Now, come on.
he's one of the best in the business. He's really good at narcissism. He's one of the best in the business, but it's worked well for him. I can't hate on Trump for doing what's been working for him. It's worked well for the man.
But yeah, people are a little upset about the food prices and the power bill, and they might have cheap gas, but everything else is going up. And Walmart came out and fact checked Donald Trump. Donald Trump about all these prices dropping. Walmart came out and went, So
Yeah, but I don't know if everybody sees your reality. I had a lot of MAGA come on the show and they told me that Thanksgiving dinner in their areas was indeed cheaper. A lot of MAGA do believe that the grocery prices are coming down. They're saying they're coming down in their area.
and look, I worry about that really badly for a real reason. How long can you stay outside reality before you snap and can't come back to civilization as normal?
Well,
I'm serious. It's happened in other places. How long can you live in an alternate reality before reality comes crashing in? Because eventually it does. No matter what, eventually it comes crashing back. So,
but maybe, perhaps, MAGA might be telling the truth. Maybe in their area, Trump's policies are working for their grocery prices. It might be going down in their
I
area.
looked it up online, and the numbers say differently. Like the actual numbers that came out from stores, like they can say whatever they want, but the math didn't support it.
What about gas prices? Gas prices are really low. Do you give Trump credit for
gas
that?
prices?
Huh?
The president doesn't control gas prices.
Doesn't matter. It happened. Listen, let me just say it like this. And I don't.
Just because something happens under a president, like the wars, like Joe Biden did not start the war in Ukraine. That was Russia and Ukraine. He didn't start that over in Israel. That was them. To blame a president for everything that goes on in the entire world that is outside his actual reach is asinine.
Well, here's where I'm going to push back. Listen, from the left, we know damn well if gas was costing $5 a gallon or more right now, the left would not be saying the president doesn't control gas prices. We would be blaming it on Trump.
Yes, I will. I cussed out.
I'm talking about the left. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the left. If gas prices were astronomically high right now, the Democrats would be blaming that on Trump. So if the gas prices are low, he should get credit for that. Fair is fair.
I don't hear Democrats complaining about gas prices.
Because they're cheap. Because they're cheap right now.
Not even before when they were expensive. I do not hear Democrats running around whining about that shit. I just don't. That is a very Republican thing to do. If you're bitching about gas prices, I automatically assume you're Republican.
You're trying to tell me if gas was $5 a gallon right now, the Democrats would not.
Listen, Tim, listen. That's what their news tells them. Just like with transgender people. The Democrats weren't talking about transgender people. Kamala wasn't talking about it. But we wouldn't let them, we defended them when they attacked them, though.
I get all that, but hold on, hang on, hold on.
Hold on.
Wait, let me get in here. Let me just ask you a simple question. You're telling me right now if gas was $5 a gallon, Rachel Maddow and The View, and none of them would be blaming that on Trump is what you're saying.
I don't know, but I don't.
You don't know.
Complain about it. I don't. I'm being honest.
Come on.
Do you want me to lie to you?
I would rather you lie and make it sound like the truth.
We don't complain about gas prices.
Okay.
We have other things we bitch about. Our news isn't geared that way, and that's what I was trying to tell you. The right's news feeds them specific things that they want them to be irate about. The left is irate that people aren't being fed, and we don't have health insurance. They're irate over petty-ass gas prices. Huge fucking difference.
Gas prices.
It's also a difference in level of responsibility.
Andy, I think you're on it clinically. I'll just say.
Okay, Fluffer.
Gas prices affects us all. If gas was $5 a gallon, there's no way in hell the Democrats would not be blaming Trump. I think you're wrong on that. They would be blaming Trump for.
We talk about this all the time. We know that Trump doesn't control the damn gas prices. We know OPEC does. Unless the president directly goes over there and deals with them and has talks, we can't say shit. That is not what's happening. I do not understand people that argue about shit that is, and this is what I'm talking about. This fake bullshit. All y'all live in an alternate fucking reality, and eventually the real world's going to crash in. You can do what you want to. That's your life. But when y'all have schizophrenia and shit, don't cry to us.
How about this one? As MAGA Reacts in the comments points out, Trump, he's saying that Trump deals with OPEC. He's dealing with Saudi Arabia and things like that. What he is indicating is Trump is doing things behind the scenes that could be responsible for why the gas prices are so cheap. You don't see any of that?
We should be worried that under Trump's administration, China paid for gas in their own currency. That's what we should be fucking worried about.
But not.
See, we worry about real things. Democrats are worried about actual things that will hurt us. Gas prices are just a fucking fact of life. But China being able to buy oil in their currency and not the US dollar, because oil is supposed to be the OPEC dollar. Remember that? That's what makes our currency strong. That's what you should be worried about happening under the Donald Trump presidency, not the prices. See, that's my problem with y'all. That's petty shit. That's day-to-day shit. It is bullshit to whine about, and it's just something to cry about. You want to talk about real problems in America? I'll discuss them with you. But that petty shit is just Republican
How
bullshit.
can
crying.
gas prices be petty shit when we're complaining about grocery prices? You said gas prices are just a factor of life. Well, so are grocery prices.
The president controls the grocery prices. If he hadn't put the tariff on Brazil, cause and effect, beef wouldn't be higher. You know, if you can't see the cause and effect and you want to fluff for them that hard,
No, it's
go
not.
ahead.
You said,
Or
okay.
if you actually believe that, that's fine too.
You said cause and effect. If gas prices go down, does that not affect the price of other goods and services that come by way of trucks that require gasoline?
But that is not the bulk of what is causing prices to go up. It is the tariffs. And it is obvious to see. I mean, anybody that understands anything about math can see that shit.
I'm not a fan of the tariffs.
Thinking skills at all. You can go, oh, beef prices are high. Why? Oh, we're tariffing Brazil 50%. That's where the beef comes from. Shit. And then go look at why we're tariffing Brazil. It's not even over a trade agreement. It's over other bullshit. That should piss off the American public because he's using their buying power to for a regime change.
Yeah, and by the way, your friend Gen X says third highest cost of electricity is in Connecticut. I don't know where you said. Did you say Alabama's one?
No, we're 3. I don't know where he gets his information. Like, first of all, we're Gen X. Like, come on. Like he's ever said anything.
I mean, he
real
can use Google
ever.
Though. He can Google and find out stuff just like anybody else,
He
right?
could, but he don't.
Okay, fair enough. So before I let you go, what do you think about President Trump? I don't know if you heard me play this earlier, but this is President Trump. I believe he's designating a weapon of mass destruction.
More step to protect Americans from the scourge of
I don't
deadly
know
fentanyl.
what to think about it yet.
So he might be doing something that's good then.
Maybe.
All right. Fair enough. We
I
get
gave him
somewhere.
credit for the animals. Look, I had every policy I hadn't said no to. He said cruelty to animals. I was like, cool. No revenge, scorn, cool. Like those things are good. Totally give him credit.
So you do believe that Trump has done some good things for this country then?
I told you those 2 things.
Any others?
Not that I can think of currently.
Just animals?
But I guarantee, wait. But I just popped those off my head, and you laugh. Gen X and them can't tell you one thing that Joe Biden did. Not one.
Ooh, I'll leave it at that.
So, I mean, you can sit there and laugh, but I have more nuance than they do, at least.
All right, fair. And you're right. MAGA's not going to give Biden credit for anything. So, I mean, the fact that you gave him Trump credit for anything is probably higher than MAGA. Yeah, MAGA's not going to give Biden credit for anything. So we'll leave it at that. All right, Andy, I'll go
And
ahead
like I
and move it
said,
on.
there's lots more things in this country we should be worried about than damn gas prices. Trump putting his face on a coin and obviously telling us he wants to be a dictator should be really high up on your list.
Well, he is
But
80.
they don't care.
He is 80, though, so he's not going to be around that long.
And by the way, Trump is like his mental cognitives is way out there. Did you hear him go off on a tangent about snakes in the middle of a normal speech? Like, let's talk about that black mamba and that venom. I'm sitting there going, oh my God, somebody please get his handler. Like,
He's
it's
80
getting
years
really
old.
hard to ignore.
He's 80 years
It's
old.
getting really hard. Oh, but you didn't give Joe Biden that grace.
No, Biden.
No, y'all ran him in the ground. So you can't say Donald's old and then talk about Joe that way.
Well, the argument for
You know,
the argument
6 of
for
one, half
Trump,
dozen of the other.
the argument for Trump is he holds a hell of a schedule compared to Biden. I mean, Biden was on TV
Does he?
once
We
a
ain't seen
week.
him do anything all day. Go look at his schedule. It's pretty fucking light. Except when he sits up all night and they can't take his phone from him and he's sunning down and writing hate tweets.
Ooh,
Like,
I'll leave it at that. I got to move it on, Andy. Always a pleasure. Good to talk to you again. Appreciate it. No
See?
fluffing. No fluffing, by the way.
yeah, no fluffing. Shut up about gas prices.
All right. Shut up about gas prices. You know, I will say this, and thank you, Andy, for coming through. By the way, folks, tap the screen, get the likes on up to 30,000. We can make that happen if you let your thumbs not be lazy. Smash that like button if you're watching us on YouTube, Instagram, And if you're watching us on Facebook, feel free to give us a follow. We have a white people shooting up school problem here in the United States. Wow, yikes. Yeah, tap the screen, get the lights on up. You guys know how the program is ran. We don't block, ban, or censor. Continuing on with the program, though. Thanks for proving the host point, Melissa. What was the point? I missed out on that one. Let me go back to the box, and it says 1990 here. How does one man make a decision that rules a country with so much Senate and red and blue? Well, it's simple. If the powers that are responsible for performing checks and balances on the president just stand back and let him do whatever he wants, that's how it works. One man can do a lot of stuff if the parties that are responsible for stepping up and approving things all of a sudden say we don't need to approve it, we'll just let him do it. That's how it works. I mean, because he is kind of what's going on in Venezuela, did it on his own. What went on in Iran, bombing their nuclear facility, did it on. I mean, he's doing a lot of stuff on his own. I mean, so if Congress doesn't step in and say anything, then that's kind of how it works. Canceled the penny, did it on his own. I believe you canceling currency. I don't think the president can do that alone. Is he not? I mean, he's doing the stuff on his own. Now he's creating currency. Somebody said he's going to put his face on a dollar coin. So he's doing a lot of stuff on his own. So that's how one man can make a decision. If the rest of the party just says, okay, do whatever you want. But for folks who haven't heard this yet, because some of you folks are just joining in, this is President Trump, a new weapon of mass destruction.
I'm taking one more step to protect Americans from the scourge of deadly fentanyl flooding into our country. With this historic executive order I will sign today, we're formally classifying fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction, which is what it is. No bomb does what this is doing. 200 to 300,000 people die every year that we know of. So we're formally classifying fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction.
I'm still curious how that works because that stuff is used in the medical community. So, I mean, I don't know how that's going to work out like that. But listen, at the end of the day, when I think about all the people I know that died from crack use. Crack wasn't deemed a weapon of mass destruction. It definitely can kill you. Maybe not as fast as fentanyl, but dead is dead, right? I don't think fentanyl is ever going to end up killing as many Americans as tobacco or even alcohol. Just because fentanyl kills you quick and alcohol or tobacco takes longer to do it, they get a different set of rules. I don't get it, because at the end of the day, all of this stuff is being ingested voluntarily. It's not, when we think weapons of mass destruction, that's generally something your enemy puts on you against your will, whether it's a dirty bomb or mailing you random letters with anthrax in it or ricin or something. I mean, it's something you did not want and your enemy forced it on you, and it can take lots of lives. The fentanyl users in this country are doing that shit voluntarily. Most of them folks are messing around with drugs recreationally. Now, I know in some cases, some drug dealers may lace a hit of something else with fentanyl, but you already have a law for that. If you're a drug dealer and you put fentanyl in something where somebody was trying to buy some eggs or trying to buy some coke or something like that, and you put fentanyl and you kill them, you're already going to jail for murder. You don't need a new law for that. That's already a class A felony. You don't need a new law for that. So I don't know how deeming fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction works. And I would also add, I'm going to use a phrase before I go to the next caller, phrase that is very common in the Second Amendment community. Drugs don't kill people. People using drugs irresponsibly kills people. It's just like a firearm. They tell you a firearm doesn't kill a person. A person using a firearm irresponsibly is what kills people. A gun is not going to jump off the table and just shoot somebody. Neither is a bag of smack. A bag of some narcotic is not going to just jump up and take somebody's life. It has to be used irresponsibly, just like a firearm. I don't get why the Second Amendment sees it with guns, but they don't see it with drugs. because guns are incredibly dangerous as well. They too can be a weapon of mass destruction if used improperly. So I don't understand that. Well, let me go back to the box. In the comments, yes, cartels don't want credit for that shit. They sell good dope. Fair enough. Remember when the cartel dropped a bad dealer off at the... I'll tell you this in regards to cartels selling, not wanting to take responsibility for bad dope. If Trump starts targeting them and certainly starts basically perpetrating governmental assassination of cartel leaders, that sure would be a hell of an incentive to flood America with bad dope. I mean, if you're going to kill us anyway, you're going to destroy our business. You're going to go clear and present danger with Harrison Ford. If you've ever seen that movie from the 90s, that's kind of what we're doing right now. But let me go back to the box. If you're going to do that, then hell, there's really no reason to hold back. You're going to come after me anyway. Gen X, good afternoon.
What's going on, Mr. Tim?
Not much at all. Now, what the hell did you call my show?
What's that?
What did you call my show?
I don't remember, man. I was trolling the shit out of you as always.
All right. So
hey, I wanted to come up real quick. I got somewhere to run, but Andy, she's a fucking retard. She doesn't fucking have it. It's very simple. You Google who has top 10 highest energy prices in the United States by state. For top 10 states by residential electricity rates per kilowatt hours as of late 2025, you're looking at Hawaii, California, Connecticut, New Hampshire, Alaska, New York, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Wyoming, Montana, and North Dakota. Alabama isn't even in the top 10. So she is full of shit. Full of shit. She likes to hear herself talk. That's why that woman should not be involved in any kind of politics.
They don't like
I got a violation for it because she reported me.
Yeah, I see that happening now. I get haters in the comments. Every time somebody gets on, they speak their opinion, I get haters in the comments to start reporting folks. But so I'd have to look it up. I don't know. I mean, I listen, my energy costs are not out of hand, so I don't know. But you're saying Alabama's not even in the top 10.
Not even in the top 10, brother. And if you think about it, Alabama's a southern state, man.
Yeah.
Why would their energy be that? No, Montana, Wyoming, Massachusetts makes sense. California because of taxes and regulation and shit like that. Connecticut, I don't know why Connecticut, but they do get fairly cold.
Okay.
New York, obviously.
Well, you got air conditioning. You got to run the air conditioning. You got to run the air conditioning in Alabama constantly. That draws a lot of energy.
But by kilowatt hours, the energy rates, residential energy rates, are the highest in Hawaii, California, Connecticut. They're not. Alabama's not even in the top 10.
Well, I don't fucking know. That's why I did not challenge her on it because I don't know. This was something that came out of nowhere when she said the energy costs in Alabama are much higher. So apparently she does not see the.
I noticed every time she comes on and she gets into some kind of little debate with you, it's something that you're not real sure of because you're not a dishonest person and you can. And your face is easy to read like a book because you kind of raise your eyebrows and dip your head to the side like, okay, that could be true, maybe not.
I might be thinking of my baby mama. You never know what the hell I'm thinking about. Don't let the facial expressions fool you.
Bro, every time Andy's up, I Google everything she says and everything. She's full of shit. Everything. Damn near.
What about the gas prices? Trump gets no credit for gas prices because the president don't control gas prices. She said that.
I hate to say I somewhat agree with Andy on that.
There we go. We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere now.
Hold on. But I think that President Trump does have some of those OPEC nations in his pocket where he can't officially influence prices, but kind of wink, and he kind of gets his way with some shit. I can see that.
I actually, before he won the presidency, when it was him and running against Kamala, I was saying the same thing about his relationship with Putin. I thought he really could end the war as fast. Maybe not in 24 hours, but pretty quickly, because I thought he had Putin with a good relationship. So I don't know. He may not have a good relationship with the Saudis or folks that control oil because I really overestimated his relationship with Putin. He's done terrible at his promise to end that war in 24 hours. It's almost a year and he hasn't done it.
Yeah.
So sometimes, I mean, because Trump is going to tell you every conversation he has with a world leader was a fantastic, outstanding conversation. That's just what he says. Even if nothing later comes out of it, leading you to ask, well, what the hell was so fantastic about it? Because every time he talked to Putin, it was a great conversation. Well, ain't shit come out of it. So, so that's just kind of something he said. So I don't know. I mean, look, the gas prices are in the low twos in a lot of places. So whether it's his responsibility or not, as I told Andy, my last caller, is that, or listen, at the end of the day, if gas prices were sky high under Trump, the liberals would not be saying that Trump don't control it. They would be blaming him for those high prices.
Yeah, they were 310 here when he came into office. They're 375, so I saw a 35 cent, which isn't a lot, but 35 cent is 35 cent. When
You mean
filling your car up,
275?
right?
So it went from 310 to 275.
275.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 275. Yeah. You're right.
How do you think Trump is doing so far? Now you're obviously MAGA. How do you think Trump is doing so far, in your opinion?
With the exception of all the Israeli shit and his support for that part of the world, I'd give him a B.
Economy?
B minus.
You think the economy is doing well?
I don't think it's doing well, but I don't think it's doing worse. I think it's kind of stable. Shit's certainly not more expensive. I mean, some stuff is less. Checks and balances. I think it's too early to tell just yet. So I'm really not even going to grade him on that. I don't think he's done good or bad.
Well, the reason I'm asking you that, now you gave him a B. And by the way, folks, help your boy out with that TikTok cap goal. Certainly helps out with the program. Thank you when you can. You gave him a B. Now, B is above average. C is average. So you're giving him an above average grade. If you're not going to factor in the economy right now, you don't like the Israeli conflict, you're admitting with me the Ukrainian-Russian war has been a failure. What's making you give him an above average grade? What is he doing that's above average?
Because I am 110% what he's doing with immigration, what he's doing with our borders, what he's trying to do with crime in more and more cities slowly going forward. And I really agree. Oh, hold on. Someone's trying to call me. And I really agree with what he's doing and actually taking a step towards winning this drug war.
Yeah,
He's...
I could work with you. I could work with you on immigration and the border. And even I'm not a fan of how he's tackling crime, but I can understand your sentiment there. But with the drug war, you really think just targeting Venezuela alone is going to make? I mean, we had a whole war on drugs that didn't stop motherfuckers from getting high. You think targeting one country is going to really put some kind of significant dent in fentanyl or drug use? Because folks are suggesting that fentanyl don't even come from Venezuela.
I do think it's going to significantly help in the long run. I do. And here's why I think that. I think that we've just seen the tip of the iceberg. After he's done knocking shit out of Venezuela, he's going to make it a policy. If you bring drugs to the States via our seas, our oceans, you get into international waters, we're going to fucking blow your shit up. And anybody who don't like it, send a couple ships and stop us. Let's see how that works out for you. And they're not going to be able to get people to drive these boats. If you got Hawaii, which is a great tourist spot, and some motherfucker is blowing up every plane and boat going to Hawaii, you going to fill out an application to drive a boat to Hawaii? No.
No, but what I think ultimately will happen is the same thing that's been happening, because that's a $1 trillion industry, illicit drugs. You're going to have a whole lot of Americans that are willing to turn their back and help smuggle things in airliners and shit like that. I mean, we don't have as much in a country with 300 and some million people. We don't have enough drugs in this country to get everybody high because they're just so savvy at smuggling that shit in there. The reason that happens is because there's a hell of a lot of Americans that are working with them to get that stuff here. And that's not going to change no matter what Trump does. It's just too much money to be made. Too much money. The war on drugs, they weren't executing people like Trump is doing, but they weren't throwing them in prison forever. And it didn't stop people from getting high. It's too much money to be made and too much demand for that shit. So he'll kill a few people, make a few speeches, but at the end of the day, the party is going to continue, man.
I don't know. We'll see. we'll see. I'm kind of a little more optimistic. I understand what you're saying, and I understand your reasoning behind your thought process. But you got to also understand that this particular strategy has never been used.
I mean, I don't see the I don't see the difference between throwing somebody in prison for the rest of their life versus killing them. I mean, both of those are huge deterrents, and it didn't work. I mean, 3 strike laws, none of that stuff stopped people from getting high. I mean, they were during the Reagan administration, they were locking people up forever, and there was no shortage of people willing to take their place. And that's my guess is going to be the same in regards to these boats being blown up because they're sending low-level players. I mean, look, if you successfully get through, I'll make sure you and your family are hooked up. And you'll find endless folks that are, remember, these folks are walking thousands of miles barefoot to get into America for a better life. So people that are that desperate, you'll find plenty of them to keep getting in those boats.
But death in prison, being locked up for life is a big dip. Look, if you're going to put me in a federal facility, which will eventually be a minimum facility where a drug charge or a level 2, whatever they call it, give me a television, 3 hots and a cot and free medical. Fuck it. If you're going to fucking blow me up on the ocean, I'll take the prison time.
I think most sensible people just wouldn't do it. I'm just simply saying the level of desperation, I don't think it's going to stop. I'll give it to you if you think that that's the case, but my guess is all said and done, we're going to look back on this the same way we look back on the war on drugs and suggest it was a failure. He killed a few people, maybe stopped a few shipments here or there, but nobody had trouble getting high. The streets did not have a drought, and life goes on. That's what I think is going to happen because he's only got 3 years left. The war on drugs was much longer than that. And the next administration is probably going to cancel what he's doing. So I don't see it. I mean, look, if it's a success, give the guy credit, but I just can't imagine it because there's a lot of people that don't favor executing people without a trial, judge, or jury or anything. Do you actually believe that every boat being blown up is carrying drugs and doing exactly what they're saying? Do you believe they're being 100% honest?
From what I've seen, from what I've observed, yes. Fishing boats with no fishing poles, no fucking nets, 10, 50 gallons of fuel strapped from bow to stern, 4-engine speedboat on a fishing boat. Yeah, they're doing something other than fishing. I think they're bringing drugs.
Why not let the boats get
a submarine? Who fishes in a submarine?
Well, then let me ask you. That's a good question. Let me ask it to you this way: why not let the boats get within at least 100 miles or so of America and then blow it up? That way, it would be clear where they were headed. Why are you're well over 1,000 miles away with other countries in between, trying to assure people that all of these boats are coming to America? If you stationed our assets in the Gulf of Mexico, not America, Gulf of Mexico, and around Florida, you still could take these boats out 100 miles or so before they got to America when it was pretty clear that they're headed to America.
Risk, minimalizing risk. I can answer that easily.
Risk? What risk? What risk?
Okay, look at the Gulf, the Gulf of America. Look within 50 miles, 100 miles of the United States borders. How many more real fishing vessels and commercial vessels and personal vessels are there per square mile of ocean as compared to where he's hitting them? Probably a lot more.
Well, first of all, if
you're running the risk of maybe actually really blowing up somebody innocent.
If you're
in the middle of the ocean, you minimize that risk.
If you're tracking these vessels, though, you would know the right one to hit. In my opinion, they should just commandeer the damn things. I don't think you should execute people. I mean, because for all we know, they may have put a firearm to the head of somebody and told them, either you run this load or we're going to take out your family. We need to send a dummy load to see if we can get through. Go grab somebody and force them to make the run at gunpoint. And because America just blows the person up, it actually might be people being forced to do this stuff that we don't even know. When you don't investigate anything, give any due process, it could be dummy runs in terms of drugs. Sometimes people send sugar instead of the actual schmack. I mean, any of that's possible because we're just destroying it all.
Now, let me say this. Two Two things. Number one, I agree with you. I think there should be some transparency as to what, what's going on. Even if they grabbed one or two boats and said, all right, motherfuckers, time to shut the fuck up. Here's what we got as evidence. They don't do that. But number two, how do we know they haven't done that? Just because they haven't disclosed it.
Because
doesn't
Trump
mean
don't
they
keep
haven't
secrets.
grabbed one or
Trump
two
does
of them.
not keep secrets very well. That's why you know. Trump does not.
You're
If
talking
Trump,
about an active investigation and operation.
If-
So yeah, I think Trump can keep his mouth shut.
if you're stopping, I'll give you an example why I'm saying he can't keep his mouth shut. This whole controversy over these boats being blown up, we didn't have to see that shit. He could have just announced yesterday we stopped a drug vessel from bringing dangerous drugs to America. You don't have to put people on screen getting killed. He decided to do that. In the middle of this drug war, you don't have to show people dying. He chose to do that.
Let me give you a hypothetical because you love to throw the hypotheticals out. Let's say he didn't open his big mouth, which we can agree that he's got a big mouth.
He would have a lot less problems. He would have a lot less problems in life if he didn't do that.
Let's say he didn't open his big mouth.
Mhm.
Now, let's say that a commercial vessel or a private vessel actually witnessed one of these drug boats getting blown up, and it came out not out of his mouth, but in the tabloids out of nowhere. They did a little investigation. They saw them blowing up boats. You don't think it'd be much worse? You guys would be going crazy saying he's blowing boats up and not even fucking telling us.
No, because I don't think it would be much worse because in that case, the U.S. government would just lie and say that wasn't us. We didn't, whatever you saw, we didn't have anything to do with it. And there would be no way to prove anything different. A missile comes out of the air and some boat in open water blows up. You can't prove that America was involved in that. Maybe they had a bad gas line on the boat or something like that. So I think that he's causing himself.
Bad gas line.
Well, you are transferring a ton of fuel and you're transferring narcotics. Sometimes some of that shit is flammable. Yeah, you are doing dangerous things at sea. Maybe your shit just blew up. We ain't got nothing to do with it. You can't prove that America did that. But when he's putting it on television and bragging about it, now you can absolutely prove that we did all of them. What do you think about the fact that they did a second strike on a boat that was already disabled? You believe that was necessary too?
100%, because the standing order was, before that protocol was changed, the standing order was, and you can Google this, it's very free information, because I know everybody's there going, if Michael's going, no, that's wrong. All right, Michael, whatever. Google it. The standing protocol was to sink the ship, not to blow it up, to sink it. And when it didn't sink, they hit it with a second missile and fucking sunk that motherfucker. And then they changed the protocol. After that, they changed the protocol, and now the protocol reads: if there are survivors, number one order is to save the survivors before they sink the vessel.
Why the hell would he pardon a drug kingpin in the middle of this shit?
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm really glad you brought that up.
So
Number
am I.
one,
So am I.
He pardoned an alleged kingpin, the guy that brought the 400 metric tons.
Alleged? Alleged?
Was his brother. Was that man's brother. He was taken down under the Biden administration.
And?
The Biden administration didn't want to see him fucking in power.
So
Yes.
wait a minute. You suggesting that this individual that got a 45-year sentence was innocent?
He wasn't as involved as they say. His brother was. You know, his brother was the one who got caught with all that shit in Miami. Google it, Tim. It's information. It's free to find. I swear.
You're trying to tell me this guy got a 45-year prison sentence and he didn't do nothing wrong. It was just Biden wanting to take him out. The guy who is full of dementia and can't string together two sentences, he's suddenly prosecuting former presidents of Honduras.
I said Biden administration.
Okay. By the way, did you know that the nation of Honduras, where he's from, now also has a warrant for his arrest, which means that when not only did the Trump administration pardon this guy, they didn't even deport him. I mean, he's on the loose. So they actually helped aid and abet him to flee his own country as well. So we pardoned him from what we charged him with and convicted him of, and we're aiding him. So there's an Interpol warrant for him. We don't know where the hell the guy's at. What is the Trump administration doing? Helping out criminals?
Yeah, I just pulled it up for you. I just pulled because I was reading this all last week. The whole week you were talking about it.
Okay.
The brother of former Honduran President Juan Orlando Hernandez, who was convicted of large-scale drug trafficking, is Juan Antonio Tony Hernandez Alvarado. Okay, a former Honduran congressman, Tony Hernandez, was involved in all stages of the drug trafficking through Honduras. He got caught in Miami.
I'm trying to. Are you saying the dude is innocent? That's what I'm trying to find. Are you saying this dude is? Because Trump hasn't been exactly lenient to Hispanics. I'm trying to figure out how the hell this guy got a pardon. Are you saying he was completely innocent? I mean, we're trying to bury Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who hasn't done a fraction of what they saying this guy's doing. Are you saying this guy's innocent? Because I don't understand how he got such a sweetheart deal and didn't even get deported. We're trying to deport. Fucking kill. We're trying to deport. Huh?
I'm saying his conviction was a result of a fucking criminal justice department that had political motive to lock this man away because they didn't want him in political power in Honduras. And they used his brother's whole cocaine mess, who was also a politician, to get rid of him.
Was he innocent?
Violated his rights. That's what Trump saw. He said he was treated really badly and overturned a conviction, as he should. Just like you, if they convict you and violate your rights to do it, you need to get a pardon. You need to get out. Just like my homeboys that all got convicted for J6. They violated all their rights. That's why they're all walking the streets today. All of them.
I don't get how this man is not in favor of giving illegal immigrants due process. He wants to deport people. All of a sudden, this guy just happens to be a wealthy immigrant. He doesn't get deported. He gets due process all of a sudden. Now he's been mistreated. All the rest of these folks, we don't give a damn if they mistreated or not. Just get him out of the country. This dude, now all of a sudden you care about this immigrant having due process and all of that. That don't seem fishy to you at all.
Yeah, of course it does. But it's all a big political game, bro.
The man is pain. That man is.
This is fucking politics, dirty politics 101. And both sides fucking do it, and you will never convince me otherwise.
So I got to move it on. But in other words, Trump didn't drain the swamp. He's just part of the swamp for the other side.
No, I'm not saying it.
That's what you just said. You said dirty politics.
Hold on. Let me finish. He's draining the part of the swamp that doesn't benefit him. Just like every other fucking president does.
Right. So he didn't drain the swamp. He's just part of it for the other side. You just kind of really reiterated what I said.
Oh, well, then we agree.
All right. Gen X, you drive a hard bargain, but I always enjoy talking to you. I got to move it on. Door's always open to you.
Brother, I'll talk to you soon. My pleasure.
Anytime. By the way, folks, tap the screen. Get the likes on up to 40 thou, Thou. What the fuck is he talking about, sis? Shorten. Listen, he has his opinion. He paid for his pardon, same they doing to President of Venezuela. I actually believe it's more of that, Scott, in the comments. Scott says he paid for his pardon. Look, Trump has not been empathetic or had any kind of sympathy towards Hispanic immigrants whatsoever. So all of a sudden, this dude, this Honduran president, well, he's being mistreated in the Biden administration. You don't give a fuck about that. You ain't never shown you gave a fuck about an immigrant not being treated right. You want him kicked out without even getting due process. So, yeah, that dude, in my opinion, is exactly what one of the viewers said. Because he has money, he funneled money to the right places, and it got him a pardon. Not only did it get him a pardon, but he didn't even get deported the way they normally do. He has no right to be in America. So once he got pardoned, he should have been kicked out and sent back where he came from, which is Honduras. Trump didn't even do that. That dude paid his way not only to get out of U.S. custody, but to prevent from being sent back to Honduras where he knew he was going to be put in custody there. He paid for that. That's swamp-like maneuvers. That's why I said he didn't drain the swamp. He's just playing the swamp on the other side. Looking in the comments, though, tap the screen, get us on up to 40,000. We'll take the next call in there. A lot of lazy thumbs in here. Tap the screen, get the likes up to 40,000. Well, we'll look in the comments here. It would have to take 3 stops of fuel to get from Venezuela to the United States. Where are they going to get it? I too have a hard time believing that those boats were capable of making it all the way to the United States on their own. I really have a hard time believing it. Thank you, Big Dog, for you guys that help your boy get that TikTok cap goal. Definitely do that. Thank you, Big Dog. You picked on me. That's not conducive to tapping. What are you saying, Andy? We had a conversation. Mike, appreciate that. Thank you very much. Get your boy up to 40,000. We'll take the next caller. Somebody say yes, he's part of the swamp. Yeah, I don't see how Trump is not part of the swamp. It's just that Trump and his supporters favor empowering swamp creatures that are going to be for the cause. But he's clearly doing, I mean, listen, you're selling Teslas on the White House line. That's a swamp creature maneuver. That's a swamp creature maneuver. I mean, Trump has done a lot of swamp creature shit. He's just doing it for, people say, he's doing it for the cause, but he's still doing it. I missed that. Did you pick on Andy? Yes, Andy was the first caller, Ocean. She was the first caller. And she came in hard. Came in hot, as some would say. Had all kinds of W Andys in the comments. Just because some people have a high IQ, you do not have to be a little dumb and thinking that they are smart. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about in the comments. Tim, who's your drug running fuel expert? Logic. Draco, you said, who is my drug running fuel expert? Logic. I don't believe a boat the size of those boats can travel, what is it, 1,700 nautical miles or something like that, they said. I don't believe that boat is capable of doing 1,700 miles on the tank of fuel that's in it. I don't care. I mean, I don't believe there's enough fuel in that vessel to travel that distance. Logic. That's what I'm gonna say. That's where my knowledge is coming from. Logic. I'd have to, listen, we get some folks on here that got boating experience, maybe, but I'd have to hear that. Let me go back to the box. Are we at 40,000? Tap the screen. Israel, what does that say here? Handsome liberal is eating the dogs. Nico says the handsome liberal is eating the dogs and eating the cats. All right. Okay. We don't want any dogs and cats, but that is funny. We'll go back to the box. Mike, good evening. Welcome to the program. Mike DeBoss. How do you feel about that boat that was double tapped? Hang on a second, Mike. My last caller believes that it was legit because the order, according to him, is that the order was to sink the vessel. So even if it was remnants of it floating, you still have to use another, I don't know, $500,000 missile to make sure every piece. That's crazy. If the boat is completely disabled, whereas it's just floating helplessly at sea with the current, why would you spend that kind of fucking money just to put it below the ocean unless you want to hide some evidence? Mike, good evening.
Well, number one, hey, what's up, Tim? Hey, tap the screen share the line. Let's get Tim up to about 75,000. Wow, there's 250 people in here. We should better get Tim to 75,000 before I drop. And for those that y'all don't like me, tap the share out the screen and I will drop right at 75,000. How's that? There you go.
You gonna get there pretty quick and help your boy out with the TikTok cap goal. Thank you. Oh my God.
So first thing, the rules of engagement have always been for preservation of life. You cannot unalive a wounded combat of war. That's a fact. There's military people in here right now that will confirm what I said. But let's be clear. Tim Scott said that it was tapped 4 times. If you remember his press conference.
Wow.
No. He did that, Tim, at the very beginning, and people overlooked that. He came out of the hearing and said not one but twice. It was tapped 4 times. But people don't think about that shit.
I will also add this. There is a reason why the Trump administration chose to deliberately only show you the first strike. They know that shit don't look right because Trump don't normally hide shit if it helps him out and it works for him. There's a reason why they're not showing you those other taps after that because they know it don't look good.
So it wasn't the one. It wasn't about sinking the vessel. And if you watch the video, like they said, the guys are waving. They're talking about they were maybe waiting for listen. They know what they're doing. They unalive those people, and there's people like Gen X and their supporters that got an excuse for this is the delusion that we talk about, Tim. But before we get too far, yesterday I made a comment on this show. People said I didn't know what I was talking about. I sent you the information via text? Did I?
I haven't been able to see it today.
Okay, and what it was about, when Trump restricted the airspace in Venezuela, the one thing and the restriction that the FAA has for Venezuela's airport is they cannot have any direct flights to the U.S. They gave them designated airports to stop at so they can still fly.
Oh.
They just couldn't have direct flights. I told these bitch asses last night that I go and do my homework. So I went and did my homework, and you can look that up. So the restrictions on Venezuela where they could not have direct flights to the U.S., but they could still continue to operate.
Okay, before we go into that, and I do want to talk about that, one of my viewers on YouTube, EB173, in regards to the double tap or quadruple tap, as you're saying, Tim Scott admitted to, he's saying, I find it humorous, but I want you to tackle it. He's saying they were trying to flip the boat. You are still in the game, in other words. So they're trying to flip the boat, which means they're still in the game, as I think Hexa said. They were still in the fight, is the words he used. And he's saying Democrats in the USA love criminal illegals. So he's justifying the strike because the folks that survived the first strike were still in the game, actively trying to flip the boat back over.
So it was a 40-foot boat. Now, I don't know if that person's ever been on any sort of watercraft. You can't flip a Sea-Doo by your goddamn self.
Yeah.
So, right, Tim, just say it out loud so they don't think I'm crazy.
It's insane. Listen, I'm just going to tell you, if you're in open water, well above your head, treading water, you're not going to, a boat that is so loaded with fuel, outboard motors and shit that it can travel 1,700 miles, two dudes are not going to flip that over by hand. It is impossible. It's funny to say that. I mean, it's funny that somebody was actually thinking that that's going to happen. You're not going to flip that over.
They're not. And the idea that it's still a conversation, just listen, every time they say something, it just shows another level of delusion because it's not even possible. It's not even possible.
Yeah, I can't. I think that folks are just taking the word of the Trump administration and not even doing a deep dive on the logic of it. But yeah, if you believe that boat, I mean, just enough fuel alone to travel that distance is going to have significant weight to it. That ain't even including the boat, the motors, all of the mechanics of the. You're not going to turn that shit over. Not to mention, even if you turn it over, it ain't going to work. It ain't going to travel. It's still going to just be sitting there. You'll be lucky if it just remains floating with the current. There's no fight. You're helplessly at sea. There is no fight. You're not in the fight no more.
Man, listen, Tim, first of all, by their own admission, they blew it in half.
Yeah.
What they going to do? What are they going to do with a boat that's blown in half, Tim? Even if they could, so what are they going to do?
Not to mention the fact that you got blown up from some shit you didn't even see. So the last thing you want to do at that point is fight. You know somebody is looking at you that you can't even fucking see. Something blew you up from the air. You don't want to fight. You're going to put your hands up. There is no fight. What are you talking? It makes no sense.
These people are crazy. But you know what? And they will remain crazy because their belief in their orange creamsicle God is going to make them feel good about themselves. There is nothing. Listen, did you see how the man's treating Rob Reiner?
Wow, he said it was Trump derangements. Yeah, it's bad. It was bad.
Drives people crazy. Now, the minute somebody said something about Charlie Kirk, motherfuckers went crazy. Don't say nothing bad about Charlie Kirk. All he was a podcaster. He wasn't a political figure to the extent he had some sort of role. We didn't drop the flags to half staff when the National Guard unalived. Didn't do that. This man and his wife were unalived in their house. And we know what he could have done? He could have just shut up.
Yeah.
He could have just shut up. But he can't, and they will cheer for it. They will cheer for it. And this is why people don't have any empathy, and they get mad about Charlie Kirk. Somebody not feeling sympathy, but they do the exact same thing, and then they get all in arms where you want to cancel an entire network.
Yeah, I don't have any argument. I don't have any pushback for that. I do not like that. Yeah, you're right. Charlie Kirk gets taken out, and folks want you to be sympathetic and be, professional and mindful of what happened to him. But yeah, when their adversaries get taken out, they're anything but, whether it's Melissa Hortman in Minnesota, whether it's Nancy Pelosi's husband. I mean, they're making fun of every damn body. But with Charlie Kirk, I don't get that. I don't have any answer for that.
Well, because at the end of the day, they don't care, Tim, and we keep talking about it, but they don't care. His supporters don't care. They'll make excuses about all of this. I mean, and let me give you another example.
Sure.
We can board a tanker with all of that military power. We couldn't stop a 40-foot boat vessel in the ocean, but we steal an oil tanker and we film it. But we can't go stop a 40-foot tanker with 4 people on it, Tim.
You're not leaving me any material to push back on it. I can't. I don't have nothing to say about that.
It's absurd.
Yeah.
And anybody that tries to justify it, you're worse than the action itself. You're just worse than the action itself because you are literally the thing that you say everyone else is. You're the one that's deranged with Trump.
Well, Macri suggested the reason they didn't blow up the tanker is they didn't want to destroy the environment.
But see,
I said exactly what you're saying. You put a bunch of fentanyl in the ocean. Yeah.
Right? Did you do that for me?
Yeah. I said
so they didn't want to. So now they give a fuck about the environment. Now they give a fuck about the environment that it got, according to them, tons and tons of booger sugar on it. But we're gonna just sink it to the bottom of the ocean, never recover it, and we care about the environment.
Well, according to Macri, the fentanyl, when it went in the water, it would be diluted by the ocean and it wouldn't be that harmful. That's what he said.
Well,
That's what he said.
That motherfucker's been diluted by common sense. Because listen, I don't understand the ring around the rosies for somebody that doesn't give a fuck about none of y'all. I don't understand it. It's just crazy. A full tanker, it doesn't matter what the value is. They recorded it. So you guys are actually proving my point. He stopped the oil tanker. They stopped an oil tanker.
The point is obvious. If you can stop this oil tanker, you can stop those boats. You don't have to kill the participants on those boats. If you found a way to use a Black Hawk and repel people on this oil tanker and everybody on the oil tanker are alive, you could have did the same with the speedboats. You didn't have to kill them people. You chose to kill them as an option.
Damn right. You didn't fire one pew-pew, not one on a huge oil tanker. But all these people had to be unalive with no evidence, and you videotaped it. With music, listen, these people are crazy.
With music, they did use what song? They did somebody
used LL Cool J's "Mama Said Knock You Out." This is a game to these people. They think this is a game. They've been playing these games for so long without no empathy or sympathy. They're using people to play a game that they're unaliving people. All jokes aside, Tim, these crazy racist white folks are using this military and this government as a game, and it's unaliving people, and they don't care because it's the people they choose to unalive.
But how do you respond to Macri who says they're using LL Cool J's music? How can they be racist? Wouldn't they use Keith Urban or something?
They don't give a fuck. It was Mama Said Knock You Out, and he told him. And here's the thing: they always do this. Well, he wouldn't have picked a rap song if he was. Man, sit your ass down somewhere, Macri. That's about the dumbest shit I've ever heard. But again, it doesn't surprise me though.
Here's one. Now, here's one in the comments. Now, Run Amok says Charlie Kirk was not a martyr like the far right likes to betray him. He says he was a grifting troll who profited off of debating dumb college kids. Do you think he was reduced down to just that?
Yeah, and I actually think, and I've said this before, but this shocks people when I say this. They used Charlie Kirk. This movement used him, and they put him in harm's way based on the rhetoric. When's the last time you heard them mention his name?
His wife is arguing with Candace Owens all over Fox News.
Yeah, of course, them two. When have you seen all of a sudden? And again, he was used for these reasons. He's unalive, and they moved on to some other shit. The next shoe's going to drop on that saga, but unfortunately. But then they were outraged by that. But they're not outraged by anything else. than outraged by anything else. It's crazy.
Well, they were outraged when Charlie Kirk lost his life, though. It was, I mean, he got more. I mean, he got his moment. Shit, he got more than 15 minutes of fame.
He got way more. He got more than he deserved.
Yeah.
If you measure it against the National Guards that were unalived, the man got way more than he didn't serve this country like they did. He didn't give an oath to this country like they did, but he got a better treatment than they received.
Yeah.
Did anybody fly them home on Air Force Two?
No, I mean,
Did anybody
yeah,
do anything?
I'll be honest with you. I knew a little bit of him for some of the social media stuff, but I wouldn't have recognized that dude unless, even if I was trapped on an elevator with him. He was not, because they said the #1 Google search for 2025 was Charlie Kirk, which shows a hell of a lot of people didn't know who the fuck he was. When they started making such a fuss over him, everybody went to the internet like, who the fuck is this dude? He was not that popular. Trump made him like Tupac. He was more popular in death than he was in life.
That's what we said. That's
Yeah.
literally what we said when it happened. And again, but it wasn't for the benefit of him. It's for the benefit of their movement. They don't give a fuck about him either. You keep proving my point.
No, they gave a lot of money to his wife and things like that. Are you telling me the right don't care
Again.
about Charlie Kirk? They trying to, they're trying to rename Black Lives Matter Plaza in DC. They want to rename that after Charlie Kirk.
Oh, but they were going to rename it by somebody, no matter what. If Charlie was still here, they would have found another reason to rename it because they're doing to the national parks. They would have found a reason.
Yeah.
Come on, Tim. You got to call it for what it is. You got to call it for what it is. These people are deplorable people. We need to stop making excuses for deplorable behavior. We need to stop making excuses for racist, radical right movement that they have. We need to stop making excuses for why this man just continues. And if he's so fucking busy, why does he have so much time on shit that's so insignificant?
Well, they suggest it is the liberals that are the ones that is causing all kinds of problems in this country with the blue hair people and the transgender shit. They're saying the liberals are the ones that's fucking the country up.
Well, and they've been saying that the whole time, but you can't point to anything that even proves that. But I can show you somebody who's blowing up shit in the ocean.
Well, but it's not shit that's in this country. It's distant shit that might be carrying dangerous drugs. Trump has deemed fentanyl a weapon of mass destruction. Is that not a good thing?
Nope, it's a terrible thing. I'm going to tell you why it's a terrible thing. I'm going to tell you why. Because it's targeting certain people because we actually use the narcotics. Right?
We don't use it coming from the cartel, though, do we?
Is it again, Tim? If he's classifying the narcotic as a weapon of mass destruction,
right?
If it's fentanyl, it's fentanyl. If it's fentanyl, it's fentanyl.
Yeah.
So which direction it comes from matters. If he's calling it a weapon of mass destruction, then it's all of it, or it's none. It's either all or none.
Well, I don't think they're going to go by the all or none. They're going to come up with a different.
I know they're not.
They're going to come up with a gray area. They're going to come up with a gray area.
Everything about them is a gray area. That's why I'm pointing out the hypocrisy, because now it's a weapon of mass destruction. But the crazy part is, and by the way, just so all these fools that follow Trump, every time he brings up something and calls it important, it's something that you guys never even talked about before, and now all of a sudden it's on the top of your bingo card. Every fucking time, Tim. Listen, Gen X came up here, was talking about the president of Honduras. What he didn't tell you was that his brother Tony got a life sentence before he got sentenced. Did he tell you that?
No.
I know he didn't tell you that. His brother got a life sentence and he got the 40 years. This is what I'm talking about, Tim. So they were both doing it.
Well, according to Gen X, it sounds like Trump too. They believe that this individual, Juan Orlando Hernandez, I think his name is, they believe that he was railroaded by the Biden administration. That's what Gen X was saying.
No, listen. I know what he said, but he also made it seem like it wasn't him. It was his brother.
Yeah.
He didn't do it. It was his brother. But Gen X, I just saw your comment. You didn't say his brother got life in prison unless I missed that. Because you didn't say his brother was convicted of the same thing and got life.
No,
he didn't say that.
He didn't say that at all.
Okay, that's what I'm saying, Tim. Listen, you guys keep asking for me in the comments. I'll be live later. You can mosey your ass on over here, but if you don't have receipts, don't bring your ass to my TikTok front door if you don't have receipts, because I do.
All right. So real quick before we move it on, you don't think we have a Muslim problem?
No, I don't think we have a Muslim problem. I think that, listen, let me ask you this, Tim. I'm glad you brought that up. We had a Muslim problem on September, on 9/11, right? According to white folks, right?
I would assume some of the black families that lost people in the World Trade Center would have said the same thing, not just white people.
No, they had a terror problem. We had a terrorist attack that happened for most people. We didn't care who did it. We didn't demonize who did it. Our communities, to be honest, if you're being honest, Tim, when we found out that it was Muslims for a moment, and this may sound bad to people, black folks, especially black men, was like, shit, the heat is off of us for a minute.
For a very brief minute.
Went across your mind, didn't it? Did it cross your mind?
No, because I don't commit crimes. The heat ain't never really been on me. I mean, I was old enough. Yeah, the heat ain't never really been on me. I'm a lame.
Let me say this. This is the funny part. After 9/11, this country dealt with one day of terror, one day of feeling insignificant, one day of bloodshed, and it was a terrible day. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
One day, now it's never forget. But they tell black people all the time to just move on when we had over 15,000 of those days.
That's a hell of a statement. That's a hell of a statement. And I can't argue with that. That because I get told all the time, y'all need to move on. That shit happened a long time ago. Yeah, that's a hell of a statement. And I always say it's crazy to suggest the African American community move on and stop talking about slavery when you're waving around the Confederate flag. These two events happened at the same time. If you want people to get over that era, then that means you got to get over it too. Because if you're celebrating your pride and heritage, you're going to remind me of mine as well. They were existing at the same time. That does not make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense.
But again, right now, if you said, man, y'all need to get over 9/11, you would be unpatriotic and you would probably get ran out of wherever you were standing when you said that shit. But our cultures, indigenous people, black people, Asian people that have been through atrocities in this country, y'all motherfuckers tell us to get over it and wonder why you get a visceral reaction when you do. Come on, man. Stop it.
I'll leave it at that. Mike, always a pleasure.
All right, bro.
Thank you. Good conversation. Really good conversation. He kind of hit what Gen X, he hit one out the park when he brought up that you didn't bring up what happened to the man's brother. I didn't know that. Mike always comes with that little extra shit. You know, you go to the park, you bring your ribs, you bring your sauce and shit. This motherfucker shows up with the best potato salad. You weren't thinking about that. Mike always shows up with that extra little side dish that nobody thought. Who got the baked beans with the meat sauce and shit in it? That's Mike. Tap the screen, by the way, get the likes on up to 75,000. We can make that happen if you let your thumbs not be lazy. If you still see color, you do their work for everybody sees color. I think anybody in the country that says they don't see color is lying to you. Everybody sees color. Everybody does. Racist, non-racist, etc. Everybody sees color. I don't believe that people don't see color. I would even tell you, even though young children are not born inherently racist, they're still going to see color. You might be attracted to somebody who is darker or has olive skin or who has blue eyes or brown. Everybody sees color. You don't have to use what you see to commit acts of evil, but you do see color. Everybody sees color. So anybody who tells you they don't see color, they're lying to you. That's what happens when you manipulate the truth. It's still a lie. What are you saying there? Whatever the name is there. Real quick, going back to the comments, tap the screen, get us on up to 75,000. Hey, you lefties, wow, cry me a river. How does it feel to be on the losing side? Loser, says Dan. I can't see the rest of that, but doesn't feel good, I'm assuming, just like it didn't feel good when Biden won. You see what happened on January 6th. The right didn't like losing either. I mean, you see what happened when Obama won, the Tea Party and shit. I mean, listen, it does not feel good. And I will tell you this, it probably is going to feel worse for the left losing with Trump because Trump is a nah type guy. So he doesn't just win, he throws it up in your face that he won. So it's going to be worse because he taunts. So it is what it is, but understand, unless the republic falls apart, as long as democracy remains intact, this will be on the other side. This will be on the other side. And of course, with Trump taunting so much, there's going to be counter taunting probably at least 10, 15 years after Trump has died. His death will be loaded with folks taunting and laughing at him dying. You'll probably see people showing up with Trump masks. It will be a mess. You have not seen an individual in death be ridiculed as much as Trump will be. And I'm not talking about liberals, progressives, and Democrats. I'm talking worldwide. Worldwide, you will see that. So don't just mix it up with party affiliation. It will happen worldwide because he's taunted and made a lot of folks unhappy, and he's taking pleasure in doing it. So once he is gone, there's going to be people taking pleasure in the fact that he's gone. That's going to happen. In the comments, Richie says, can't wait. Didn't what is her name? Kathy Lee Griffin, the one that got in trouble for holding up a severed head, she just recently stated that she can't wait till he passes away. I mean, people, listen, when it happens, just understand, if you really favor Trump, if you really like the guy, you think he's a great guy, just understand it's not going to be a good day for you when that happens. He's taunted a lot of people. He's a professional troll. He's really good at what he does. So people are looking forward to some get back. It will absolutely happen. In the comments, Straight Talk Commerce says liberals are just sick. Okay, well, you don't see it happening on the right at all. You only see it happening from liberals. Straight Talk, I bring you up. Going back to the box. Straight Talk, good evening.
The last time you and I spoke, I got kicked off this platform for 3 days, and I think you did too.
What are we talking about? It happens.
Last week.
What are we talking about the 2020 election?
Let's tell your little trolls to scratch their finger some other way. Okay.
Oh my
let me break this down for you a couple of ways. Okay. The last guy that you talked to. Okay. Look, and I don't even know where to begin with you tonight. You're killing me. You don't honestly think that those boats heading from Venezuela were coming straight to the United States? You don't think that, right?
I don't think
You know they were rendezvousing with other boats, larger boats, similar to the one that we seized.
Okay. That ain't what we're being told. Depends on who you ask. Hold on. Let me respond to some of this. I'll give you plenty of time. But fact is, some people are saying they were going to come all the way here. Others are saying this rendezvous shit. I don't even see any evidence that the United States was their destination of choice. I don't see any of that. Because Trump,
we know that it wasn't. The United States was not. And by the way, the administration has been telling you, they gave you the video. They gave you the video. And have you ever watched a gun camera video from Afghanistan or Iraq?
Yeah.
That's SOP. We don't leave survivors. That's not what we do.
No. Well, when you're in
Afghanistan, don't leave survivors, sir.
Well, you're in Afghanistan or Iraq. You're talking about people on land. It's a lot different than when they're at sea.
Not different at all.
No,
you are a foe of the United. No, sir. If you're in Somalia, if you are in Chad, if you're in name the place. If you're in Quebec, Canada, we don't leave people.
Let me ask you that. Since you said that. You got a guy on infrared, on FLIR. You can tell he's holding a rifle or whatever. Your C-130 or whatever you're talking about. You fire a few rounds down. You see the guy blow up to the point where maybe 2 legs are missing. You can see the legs on the other side. And he's still just slowly moving. The guns are nowhere near him. You're saying you're going to hit that guy again?
Sir, there has got to be at least 1,800 hours of video on YouTube for you to look at. Type up gun camera footage, Iraq or Afghanistan. I served 8 years. I know exactly what we do.
I'm going to tell you, as somebody who has not served, I don't believe that's legal. I don't believe that's legal.
Guess what? It's war. That's what we do. We kill people and break things. That's what the Army does.
Well,
that video is there. Don't take my word for it. Check my work. Go on YouTube. Look. It's called gun camera footage. We videotape all of these.
I've seen plenty of folks. I've seen plenty of folks lose their life from gun camera footage, but I've never seen them double tap a guy who was clearly no danger.
Whatever it takes, any movement, and then we move on. Yeah, we're not going to leave someone just floating out in the ocean. They know exactly who's on the boat. They know where the boat came from. They know what's on the boat. They know all of it.
So why have Guantanamo Bay if the goal is just to kill everybody? Why take any prisoners?
Why are we taking prisoners?
Because that's
Well, most of those prisoners are high value to the United States, not some schmuck that got in a boat and decided he was going to act like he was fishing off the coast of Caracas.
they
You
don't
understand?
even do this to us. I mean, they
And by the way,
have
by the
taken.
way,
Wait, hold on. They don't. What you're saying? They don't. The enemy don't even do this to us. They take us prisoner. I've never.
don't think they wouldn't try. Don't think for one moment they wouldn't. Have you been to war? Have you had a combat experience?
No, but I don't need. I know what's
Why
legal
not
and
talk
what's
to somebody
not.
that's had some combat experience and ask them what they're most afraid of. Ask them. I served 8 years in the United States Army. I was in Desert Storm.
Getting killed is what you're most afraid of, right?
No, hell no. Listen, I'm with my creator if you kill me. That ain't
Okay.
nothing to be afraid
So
of.
what are you most afraid of? Serving in.
Most afraid of is being captured. That's what you don't want.
Okay. So you're saying that America's rule of engagement is normally to continue killing as long as the person is
Standard of
moving.
procedure. It's called the SOP. And you do not, you listen. Now look, if they surrender, that's different. That's different. That's when you have a crime. Is if someone's they unarm themselves and they try and give themselves up to you.
I'm going to tell you, I got a lot of veterans in the comments on all these
No, you
platforms.
don't.
How the hell you know? Wait. How the hell
No,
you
they're
know?
not.
Wait. How the hell you know they not veterans? How do you know that?
Because I'm reading right along with you.
I'm on.
reading
Wait,
this
hold
with
on.
you.
I'm on 5 platforms. You ain't reading all this shit. I'm on YouTube, Facebook. I'm on. There are other places you can't.
I'm reading your TikTok comments. You don't
Okay,
have
there's a
to-
lot. Yeah, there's a lot more than that. There's a
And by
lot.
the way, the Geneva Convention is a suggestion. It is not. Everybody talk about this international law stuff.
You said
That is
it's
craziness.
It's a suggestion.
Yes, we agreed. It is an agreement between nations. It is an agreement between nations. Man, you guys have Google just like I
So
do.
what is
Google
it? So what is a war crime? If everything is a suggestion, that means you can't commit a war crime.
It's not true. If you take a bunch of people captive, you don't feed them, or if you line them up on side of a trench and just off them when they are no longer combatants, that would be considered a war crime. If you take civilian people who are not engaged in battle, or if you target civilians, again, now you've got a war crime. But if you are a combatant and you are a uniformed or not, you have taken up arms against the opposing force, guess what? You're going to end up holy.
How do you respond? Like what Travelman in the comments stated is resonant. How do you respond to folks who suggest you can't compare what's happening in the Caribbean to a war zone because we're not even officially at war in the Caribbean? That's just
we are under attack. We are under attack. And by the way,
Is it a war or is it not? If we're under attack, then where the hell's the declaration of war?
there has been no declaration of war. I doubt you could get Congress to declare war because of people like you. Here's the deal. We have 80,000 people in Los Angeles alone, city of Los Angeles, that are addicted to that substance. Okay?
How did they get it? Voluntarily, right?
No, not necessarily.
Oh, come
They
on.
didn't listen. Hold on. You show me anytime you have never seen anyone say, "Hey, I'd like to live like that dude bent over under that bridge."
Okay.
That's not how it starts. Shitting himself under the bridge. That looks like a good life to me.
What's your point, though? I mean, you know,
Point.
you've been taught since you were in kindergarten that if you do drugs, you can end up like the motherfucker under the bridge. Why you think you could use it and not end up like that is your fault.
I also went to college. I also went to parties, and I saw people having fun and taking substances, and everything was a laugh a minute. And I also went through a couple of divorces where, I just wanted to forget the pain for a little while. So what did I do? Now listen, here's what you
That's
gotta know.
your fault. That's your fault. I got a veteran I want to bring up with you, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, it's my fault, sure. But you guys seem to care more about the guys running those substances than you do about
No.
the victims. You care more about them than you do my own kid who's in the military. I don't have a child in the military right now, but if I did, you want my kid to go get on a boat with a bunch of substance runners, and you want me to treat him with kid gloves, yet you guys stand to the side and cheer.
What is your definition of
cheer the killing of Charlie Kirk?
what is your definition of kid gloves? I mean, if we disable your boat, get on the boat, take you into custody, and throw you in jail for 40 years, what do you mean kid
Why?
gloves? Where's the kid gloves
Why
coming
are
in?
we doing that? Why are we doing that?
That's
Why not take a Hellfire missile, shove it right up the ass end of that boat, and end the problem?
Because no one, listen, Americans get caught. You ever seen Banged Up Abroad or Locked Up Abroad? Americans get caught bringing drugs in other countries. We want them to be killed too.
100%. Hey, yes. If that country sees fit, why do you think they don't have a drug problem? That's what I'm saying. You are the reason we have a drug problem in this country.
I'm going to tell you,
specifically.
I'm going to tell you I disagree for the simple fact that if some country came to and told us, you had 2 tourists that came to our country, we found drugs on them, they have already been executed, there is no evidence we can show you other than us shooting them in the head, we wouldn't allow that shit. We would want them. We would want them.
I showed you a video.
No.
I showed you a video of a boat that is going to another boat that is its final destination is going to be another South American country. We are going to we track the flow of drugs or substances into your country.
We're not seeing that. We don't know. We don't know for certain. Hold on. We don't know.
I've seen it.
We don't know for
what you're looking at.
We don't know for certain who's on that boat. There is no absolute proof without a shadow of a doubt that there's drugs on that boat. I mean, they don't
true.
Because they don't. We know exactly the names of who's on the boats.
Yes.
I'm not
and
seeing.
They know where it took off from. They know where it took off from. They know that the substances are still out there floating. You know how off the coast of Florida, in the Keys, they had a massive drug problem in sharks. Because we were, the substance runners were dumping their product overboard. Sharks. Look it up.
Wait. So if what you're saying is true, every time Trump blows up one of these boats, a whole bunch of great whites are getting hooked on drugs.
Probably so. They probably moved from Florida up there. Listen, I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm asking you to just type it in Google, man.
I'm not going to. I'm just going to tell you this. If somebody did to us what we're doing to them, even in the name of stopping drugs, we wouldn't like it.
They do it.
No, they don't. Nobody. Hold on. Hang on. No, that is not true. That is not. That is not true. There is no country. There is no country that executes an American without giving them due process or letting the embassy know anything.
No. I didn't. That's not what I said.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
Try taking drugs into Thailand.
You're going to get due process.
Try taking substances into
You're going to get due process, even if they execute you.
That's what I said.
We're not giving due process. We're just killing them. We're not giving them due process.
Here. How are we going to put them in front of a judge? They're not even here. And by the way, so you're telling me that you're going to allow that individual to climb through your window before you give them the due process of getting them out of your house? I don't think that's right, sir.
I don't think that's
what you're going to do.
I think you're advancing it. I think, first of all, it would be absolutely no problem at all to stop those vessels at sea, just like we did through oil tanker. Notice why we didn't kill the people on the oil tanker? Notice that didn't happen. They
weren't armed. They didn't fire back.
Wait, you're telling me these speedboats at sea were firing? What were they firing back at, the C-130?
Hold on. If we interdict in the way you're asking, all the cartels would have to do is arm those boats. Everyone knows by now, if you're going to get in a boat in Caracas and act like you're going fishing, by the way, you shouldn't even be in the waters there right now. You got to dodge aircraft carriers, U.S. aircraft carriers. If you haven't gotten the message by now, you know you're doing the wrong thing.
You actually believe those boats would try to fire back at the U.S. military, hundreds of thousands of feet in the air, they're shooting them.
Hundreds of that. No. You asked to interdict them. You asked for us to take you. Here's what you're conflating. You're conflating our Coast Guard, who does interdictions. Our Coast Guard off the coast of the United States.
The Navy does that too. The Navy does do that.
The Navy, right?
Yeah.
You're asking them to take that 1,400 miles away and do that. You're asking way too much. When the Hellfire
They did it with the oil tanker.
From an aircraft carrier. So what?
They did it from they did it from a freaking Black Hawk.
Here's what you're asking. I just want to make sure we got. I just want to make sure we got what you're asking for.
Okay.
You care about these people so much that you want us to position an aircraft carrier in that water, the Caribbean, okay? And you want us to risk our children to go on those boats and slap the hand of all of those people who are running those substances.
What do you mean by, if they're getting 30 and 40 year sentences, what do you mean by slap the hand? Explain that.
What do you mean 30 or 40 years?
When you catch them with kilos of fentanyl, they're not, what you said slap the hand. What are you talking about?
You're assuming that you're going to be able to find them guilty, that they're not going to lawyer up, and that you're going to be able to convict them. The conviction rate on this stuff is not 100%. So now you've even got we are going to pay court costs too? No.
So what are you doing?
You'll buy you a pack of Hellfire missiles, and that will clean up your problem real quick.
So what are you doing? You're murdering people to save tax money?
Not murdering people. If they are in that area and that boat is full of substances, that is not murder. That is self-preservation.
I'm trying to figure out. You're killing people that is nowhere near the continental United States. They're around their country, and you're saying it's self-preservation. They haven't even left their.
All right. I want you to tell me a part of the world where we do not protect ourselves. You tell me, what country is it we don't have assets that are protecting the American people right now? Go ahead.
No, we're everywhere, but you're saying they're coming to the United States. You're not saying they're trying to board a Navy vessel. You're saying that people only a few miles out of the coast of Venezuela, you know they're coming all the way to the continental United States.
No. They're going to a boat, and they are placing those substances on the small boat onto a big boat. And then that big boat is going into a port that we know where it's going.
So where are the big boats at? Are you blowing up the big boats too?
No, we just landed on one the other day. We took a whole damn...
Oh, so you're saying these small boats are going to rendezvous with...
God, come on. You better watch it. That light might just come on. You got the dimmer switch too low right now.
So what you're saying is the small boats are going to rendezvous with the tanker.
You think that small boat? Why not just use a rowboat then? You think that small boat is going to make it all the way to the U.S.? Is that what we think?
That's what MAGA's saying.
No, it is not. The Trump administration has been the most crystal clear on what is going on.
So you do believe they were going to flip this boat over. You do believe they could do that?
Say that again.
You do believe two men at sea could flip over a boat and stay in the fight and keep going?
No, but okay, let me ask you a question. We could have flown away. We could have done that. But I think then our conversation would be, oh, these poor fellas were left out in the ocean, and they were cold, and they were tired, and they were on a flipped over boat, and you cruel.
You sound like Dave Ramsey.
And President Trump is such a bad man. He's orange, and he got all these people floating around in the Caribbean.
You sound like Dave Ramsey. Right, you sound like Dave Ramsey. No, wait a minute.
You sound like you right now.
No. So you do admit then when they said that these folks are going to flip the boat, because Hegseth said that. Hegseth said that they were still in the fight. You sound like you're admitting that he lied.
No, I'm not. I don't know what their intentions were. What I'm saying to you is there is standards of procedure. We do this a lot.
Intention.
This is not even... Why do you think he showed you the video?
He didn't show the video. They're hiding the double tap. They haven't showed us the video. They won't show it.
He told you what happened.
Why hasn't he showed us the video? Was your question. I'm going to give you your question back. Why hasn't he shown the video?
Look, I have no idea.
You do.
Why he hasn't shown the video. I would not have had a problem showing you the video.
Well, he does because
I'd have been in the corner of the video waving at you like, look what I just did.
Okay.
I have no problem. If you are going to run substances into my country and potentially harm my citizens and my citizens' children, goodbye. And I'm damn sure not going to put that individual or Abrego Garcia above an American hero like Charlie Kirk. There's just not.
What the hell did Charlie Kirk do to reach hero status? Who the fuck did he save? What is he? How is he a hero?
Listen, I want you to be honest with me. I want you to be honest with me. Have you ever gone on YouTube and watched a Charlie Kirk video, Prove Me Wrong, in its entirety?
Yes, in fact, I have a long form video that's about 20 minutes that I made on my YouTube channel called Charlie Kirk in Full Context. I actually have all of the notes and everything.
All right,
yes, I have done that.
And I will go watch that. Now, knowing what you know now, and knowing that I know that, do you think he deserved, or he got what he deserved? Do you think he deserved someone coming along and doing that to him?
I know he didn't deserve any goddamn hero medals. I know that. He didn't deserve to be called a hero. No, he didn't deserve to lose his life.
Still mourning him.
He didn't deserve to.
I grant you. I don't expect you to think he's a hero.
I don't know what. I don't know what's making you think he's a hero. What did he do?
He's teaching very hard lessons. You would do very well to listen to what he has to say.
I did listen to what he. I have listened to what he had to say.
Okay, but you got to take action. You got to live your life that way. You've got to take. You got to follow what he's trying to tell you. I get it. You may not agree with him. He damn sure did not deserve what he got.
I followed what he said. I've watched many of his videos in full context. You say follow what he's trying to tell you. I followed it so much that I wanted to climb up to the top of a tree, put a noose around my own neck and jump. I listened to that shit. It does not sound good. It does not sound good. I listened to him in full context, and at the end of my video, I state that if you like Charlie Kirk from those small clips, you're going to like him from the long clips. If you don't like him hearing them in those small clips, them long clips ain't going to clear nothing up. People's opinion of Charlie Kirk remain the same whether they hear him.
No, I think you're taking anybody. That's not true. In taking anyone in the context that they're talking, you have been taken out of context before. That's how I discovered you to begin with. Number one is someone taking a clip from something you said, and I came to give you a piece of my mind. And then while I was waiting, I listened to some of the things you said, and I went, I'm barking up the wrong tree here. This person isn't what I thought they were.
So you were about to Charlie Kirk me. I got to move on. I'll give you the last word, but you were about to Charlie Kirk me. Real quick.
You done spread too much. Let me explain something to you. The president of the United States does in fact control gas prices. We increased local production in the United States, drove the price down, and it did a number of things. And all the liberals that are crying about it, please tell your grannies in New York and all the coal places that they need to have higher fuel prices and they need to freeze their asses off up there because y'all don't want Trump to be right about something. That's number one. Okay? The president lowered gas prices. Y'all need to get over that. Now, when you lower fuel prices, you lower energy prices, the other costs of things go down.
Bro,
you understand?
Yeah, but the problem is he offset the benefit of lower gas prices with those tariffs. I gotta go. I gotta move it on. You're always welcome back, man. Thanks for coming through.
It was good talking to you.
You too.
Sorry about getting you thrown off last time. Swear to God.
Don't worry about it. Good conversation. Tap the screen, folks. Get the likes on up to 95. Stop drinking the Kool-Aid. Caller says Chris. And Me Too says next. I hope you have a black wife or girl. What does that mean there, TT? Now. Kamala is just bad for black men. What? Why do liberals always make fun of Trump's skin color? I mean, wasn't Kamala Harris Jamaican and Indian, or Obama born in Kenya? I mean, okay, like I said, Trump is entitled to many of the same things he do to other people. I think MAGA just don't want it to come back to him because I certainly believe that when that guy passes away, the ridicule is going to be like nothing you've ever seen before. The liberals are going to act a fool. International immigrants, people, it's going to be messy. It's going to be fucking messy. People going to have parties and shit. It's going to be messy. Expect to see deplorable decorum worldwide when Trump passes. This dude is playing all angles: victim, hero, piety, logic, totally deranged caller, only out to excuse his feelings. Wow. Let me go back to the box. That's why you need to go on Rumble. People like your last guest. I like my last guest. Had some conservative. I'm going to make Rumble happen. Got to get more support for the program to do this shit, though. This stuff requires equipment. And 99.99999% of my viewers don't support the program. So we'll make it happen if we can. And thank you for that, Den Cal. Appreciate the good galaxy. Thank you very much. I want to hear from a veteran, by the way, because my last caller, now James, have you served?
Yes, I have.
Is he right?
No, he's not.
What did he get wrong?
First off, the Geneva Convention, if you violate it, you go to jail. That's why Trump is sitting there trying to get immunity from the damn international courts now.
How is
He's
he
trying to get it for him and for Netanyahu.
Really? I did not know that. He's trying to get for himself?
Yes, he's like, look it up. He's trying to pressure the international courts to give him and Netanyahu immunity.
Well, if he gets a pardon from the United States and the international community still has a warrant for him, do you think we would turn him over?
Nobody's ever turned over anybody to the international court in the U.S. But another thing that he got wrong, first off, it wasn't the SOP. It's the rules of engagement. That's what we go on when it comes to combat. That's how you know he's never been in the fight. If he says he's been in Desert Storm, I guarantee you he was sitting there guarding some bullshit. He wasn't in there actually getting to a fight.
Well, I mean, listen, I've not served and absolutely have never been in combat, but some of the things he was saying, which is what I was telling him, like you can't, because we wouldn't tolerate that if we were at war and somebody did us the way we're doing these people.
Another thing, when he's sitting there trying to bring up gunboats, like the weapons that they shoot off those gunboats are explosive weapons. It's not no simple thing. Like if we sit there and like lighting people up, yeah, they have weapons, but guess what? One hit from them, they're dead. They're done. It's not he survived, we're going to double tap. We never double tap. Once we shoot the disabled, and once they're disabled and they're not fighting no more, yes, they're done. You can't sit there and attack them no more. He kept moving the damn the goalposts around.
He made it sound as though when we're attacking people on land, like Somalia, he mentioned Afghanistan, if people are still moving after getting hit with a C-130 or whatever, we come around and double tap them again. That's what he said.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't work like that. Because 9 times out of 10, when you get hit from a gunship, it's something devastating. It's not no shit that you just gonna survive, especially on the ground.
Yeah, that's one of the things I was trying to tell him is because I have seen plenty of FLIR video and things like that from these ships, these gunships that circle around. And you're right. The people usually are, they scatter into pieces. I mean, there's not much left, so you don't have to double tap them.
Right. He, like I said, he was lying about a lot of stuff that he was saying. And then another thing, what happens in international waters, that's not American law that you follow. That's Geneva Convention international law you follow. So if you violate those, that's a war crime. That's why Hegseth and them are trying to push all this stuff on that general, because they know they violated international law.
Yeah. I think that there may be something to that, which is why they're not showing you the double tap strikers, because it probably will clearly justify, certainly because they're claiming people were on the boat waving their hands and surrendering and shit, and then they get hit again.
Tim, look up Article 3 of the Geneva Convention.
I'll give it a quick look. What am I looking for? Oh, they don't took down the damn live again. Somebody complained on TikTok, and hang on, I'm gonna look it up for them though. I have to appeal it, but our TikTok just went down. Sometimes when we're doing lives and talking about shit like this, people, because TikTok, this isn't from TikTok. This is we get some folks right and left that complain on stuff, and I believe that's what happened here. In the comments, non-combatants in the water, such as shipwreck survivors, civilians on refugee boats, and downed air crews, are protected by international humanitarian law and cannot be intentionally attacked. Yeah, like I said, I believe that is the case. Right here, I actually believe that is the case as well. But like I admitted to my last caller, I have not served, so I'm willing to hear what he has to say. But I don't believe that what my other caller was saying is that what Trump is doing is the proper way, and he kind of made it clear that we're doing it mainly to save money. I mean, that way you don't have to give them due process in court and all of that stuff. It's just cheaper to just kill them, which means you're actually killing people to save money. I never liked phrasing it that way, but there are folks who favor doing this, and I don't believe that any American would be cool if somebody were to do this to our citizens going to another country. I don't believe that. Yeah, TikTok dropped us, Paul. I don't know what happened. Like I said, I put in an appeal. The Orange Monster and his minions will never travel out of this country to countries where they are likely to be handcuffed. That's Netanyahu. That's Putin. Yeah, there are some world leaders that can't go anywhere. And that probably will be President Trump. But Trump is 80, so he don't really give a fuck. He's not going to go many places either. But Holman and Kristi Noem and the rest of them, they probably won't be able to travel internationally either. They probably will not be able to travel to a host of countries for the rest of their life because of what they've been part of. Pete Hegseth probably will not be able to travel for the rest of their lives. Once the Trump administration, they can travel with the U.S. military for that protection, but once Trump is no longer in power, that'll probably be it. Many of the upper members of the Trump administration probably will not be able to travel internationally. Just like Netanyahu. Netanyahu has to fly certain patterns. He don't even want to go over certain people's airspace because he's an international criminal at this point. So that probably will end up happening for members of the Trump administration. Looking in the comments, we are not at war with Venezuela, therefore the Geneva laws do not apply. Then it's just murder. Professor. If you haven't declared war and you're killing people in international water, then it's just murder. I mean, you got to have a justification for why you killed them. His justification is America's being invaded by these people. Well, an invasion is war. You haven't declared war, though, so you're just killing people. It's murder at that point. Free speech is dying every day. Tim's channel is free space. People, yes, we are a free speech channel, but you are right. It gets to be challenging at some point. It does get to be challenging. Looking in the comments here, I am getting this show on TikTok. Well, unfortunately, right now, because of what happened on TikTok, I'm trying to say, they did approve it. So I'll just go right back on live on TikTok. But somebody, I guess, what is this? It said appeal approved. I don't know why I still indicate. Let me see here. Yeah, it's back up. So apparently somebody called in and reported it or whatever. You know how they are. Obama got me nervous too. He was Kamala's team. What do you mean by that? How did Obama get you nervous? I don't get that. No, TikTok is back up. I just haven't went back on it, but somebody reported it or whatever. They took it down. The appeal went through. It's already back up, but the show's been going on long enough that I'm probably not even going to go ahead and restart it at this point. I mean, we've covered most of the show. There's probably about an hour worth of topics more, but I'll let you guys rest. You've probably heard enough for tonight. If you favor this type of broadcast, follow the program if you're watching on Instagram. If you're watching us on TikTok and you've come over to YouTube, give us a sub. We're here weeknights. We're here most weeknights, so go ahead and follow the program. We are MAGA friendly. You don't have to worry about what your politics are. We are certainly MAGA friendly here. We don't block, ban, or censor any damn body on the program. Liberals are welcome as well. We go left of Bernie Sanders, so I'm having a dinner with Q. Nevertheless, I can't do shit about what happened on TikTok earlier. It is what it is. See you guys tomorrow. Y'all take care and have a nice night. It's your boy Tim, the Handsome Liberal. I'm out. Don't know what happened with TikTok. That sucks.